Hi there friends, I'm your Scientist of the Week, Danny Waller. I'm the Planetarium Coordinator at the Living Arts and Science Center, but I'm also a grad student at Morehead State University. That means I'm working on my master's degree and then I'm going to go get a PhD, so I'll be a doctor. And what I do is planetary science. So I'm here to tell you, how do planets form? This is the moon. It's not really a planet, but it formed the same way that all the planets formed. Gravity. Gravity works on us because the Earth is bigger than us. And bigger objects have more mass, which means they have more gravity. To talk about how planets form, we have to go back to the very beginning of the solar system, before there were even planets at all, and there was just the sun. The sun is a star. Like all the other stars that you see in the night sky, it's really dense and really heavy. Before there were planets, there were just big piles of dust and dirt floating around. And eventually that dust and dirt started to coalesce, or when it collided together, it got stuck together. And more pieces started sticking to the big pieces because of gravity. To show how this works, we're going to do a little experiment. For this experiment, I just took a tablecloth and put it over a bucket. And now, I've got a handful of marbles. In the early solar system, there were lots of little pieces, like this, the small marbles. If I drop one, see how it made a dent and then came to a rest? And if I drop another one, it does the same thing, but both marbles move towards each other. And if I drop a third, the same. What about if I put one on the edge? What happens? It's sucked right down into the middle where all the other marbles are. This is because marbles are pulled towards each other by gravity. These are all little marbles. What about big marbles? In the beginning of the solar system, all the little marbles, or little rocks, were stuck together and formed big pieces, like this big marble right here. If I put the big marble, it makes a bigger dent. What do you guys think is going to happen if I put some little marbles on there with the big marble now? They get sucked even faster to the big marble, and they start to stick together and clump together. What about two really big marbles? Same thing. So in the early solar system, there was tons of this stuff, and it was just dumped all over the place. So all of the marbles, or rocks, in the early solar system pulled towards the biggest objects near them, which were usually just other rocks. And they slammed into each other at such high speed, they actually melted together. Almost all of the elements in the solar system were born at the heart of a star. And all of those little pieces started to cling together, drawn in by the gravity of the sun. Those little pieces started to smash into each other, just like our marbles from earlier, forming bigger and bigger pieces, and the bigger pieces smashed into each other, until eventually we get rocks, stuff that you would recognize here on Earth. All of the elements came together to form all of the planets in our solar system by this method of gravity pulling things together, smashing into each other until they got stuck, and then making really cool, even bigger rocks. Here's a little clip from some of my friends at NASA to show how exactly we think all this stuff smashed together. Scientists are still learning a lot about the universe and our solar system. We weren't here when it was made, so it's kind of hard to know exactly what happened, but we have some really good guesses. We use different types of science like geology and physics and math, because that's really important, to figure out how all this stuff came together exactly. But we do know that the processes that happen deep inside in the core of Earth were started in this early solar system when all of these rocks were smashing together. So by looking deeper and studying the things going on inside Earth, we understand more about the early solar system. In the early solar system, gravity pulled together all of the dust and little shiny particles that were floating around the sun, until it began to create little rocks that eventually hit other rocks and became planets. And this way, the solar system cleared of all of the dust, and now all that remains are the big planets. We learned this in less than 10 minutes, but it took scientists years to figure it out. You're already practicing science by asking hard questions, so call yourself a scientist.